Yo everyone. Now I am back with notes and an attitude, as today we are here to talk about the Blue Blur, Sonic himself. This hedgehog just does not seem to die. Like, really. After countless flops, he still has a crap load of fans. But there's no denying that even they are anxious about new releases. Guys, I'd say you're better off with Mario, but, it's your deal. I'm not gonna judge you, but I'm just saying. It's hard to really trust Sonic Team anymore. I mean, let's face it. Just admit it. Yeah, I know, I kind of look like crap right now. My body's not fully rendered into this green screen, but who cares. Their next Sonic game is planned for next year. It remains untitled for now, but rumor has it it'll be called Sonic Rangers. That could just be a placeholder name, but I really hope they actually call it that, because that's a pretty cool name. However, though, more importantly, I hope the game is actually, good. Supposedly, the game will be an open-world style video game like Breath of the Wild, which does sound like it could be pretty interesting. However, though, Breath of the Wild is more of an action-adventure game, and this is a platformer. Platformers are more centered around navigating an obstacle course than exploring. Granted, there are still plenty of platformers where you can explore, but having a world as large as Hyrule and Breath of the Wild and have it all be an obstacle course makes me raise an eyebrow. Can't really do that too well. I don't know, maybe all the levels will just be connected to each other and it's not one massive level, it's just, that. I'm assuming it'll let you tackle any level in whatever order you please. I mean, like a true open world game. But we'll just have to wait and see. Now, the diehard Sonic fans should know about his bumpy jump into 3D. You gotta keep in mind that not only are 3D games of any genre or any mechanic harder to fill up, but with Sonic the Hedgehog especially, you are blasting through those environments at the speed of sound. Maybe not literally, but that's just what they market it as. It's still pretty fast. Now, trying to craft a world that is large enough for Sonic to run around in, it's kind of difficult. I mean, think about it. That would be a huge course. I mean, just look at that. Look at that. That's just one example. They have to craft lots of these things. A lot more textures and models and all sorts of things have to be created. And especially on inferior hardware, like the Dreamcast. It just couldn't really be done. I mean, it kind of could, but here's the thing, though. They had to change the formula a little bit. They had to make smaller levels. But the levels can't be too small because then Sonic won't have enough running space. And, well, the sacrifice to this is that they often, in these 3D games, Sonic and the gang will go even slower than they did in the 2D games. But this, however, in no way ruins the gameplay experience. I mean, it does for some games, but smaller levels could be a good thing. But how do you get away with it, though? Well, some levels in Sonic Adventure, the first 3D Sonic game, are more vertical, making Sonic and company go upwards or downwards. Instead of, blasting to left to right or back to forth or something like that, they could, try to climb up a tower or something. That's just one method of making 3D Sonic games fun. I'm sure there's more ways than just that. But now that we're in an age where we can craft humongous worlds in a video game, that only makes Sonic's abilities more apparent. So these days, we should be making Sonic games better than ever before, right? Well, apparently not, because Sonic Team still has their mindset on making their characters rough and tough and stuff. After all, Sonic the Hedgehog was seen as more of the smartass with an attitude, more so than Mario was. And it was like that since the very beginning. I'm assuming that if they're going to make their characters badass, they have to make their environments badass as well. But that's not always true, though. It's like they're saying, no more of this bright green Emerald Hill garbage. We're going to start making Sonic games take place in dark-ass cities. Yeah. Let's give our characters guns and make them swear a bunch. Now that's what I'm talking about. If Sonic Team could just let go of that mindset, Sonic games could be fun again. It might not live up to the standards of Mario, but they could still be a fun roller coaster type adventure, whatever you want to call it. I know that Sonic is the hip teenage kid with an attitude, but that doesn't mean that his world can't still be colorful and cheerful. I mean, it's okay to have darker Sonic games every now and then, but Trying to force those really in-depth stories into it isn't really helping too much. Sonic 2006 is a pretty good example of a not-so-good game, but its story is way worse than its gameplay. Like, the story is so nonsensical. That would be like if I said, and I'm just coming up with something on the fly, so please excuse me, but what if I just said, okay, so some guy robs my house, I take some bananas and start throwing them at rhinos or something. It's pretty much as ridiculous as that. That part wasn't in my notes, by the way. I'm always making up stuff. But anyways, back on track. It seems like these days, they're focusing more on narratives than the actual gameplay and level design. And I don't think Sonic Team is super good at either. Don't get me wrong. There have been some pretty solid newer Sonic games. But it just seems to me that they're losing the touch more than half of the time. Whenever they do make a hit, it just seems like complete luck or something. They have the skill to make good level design. It's just that they're focusing too much on other stuff. But some people would argue that the first Sonic game, the very original one from 1991, wasn't too good. I thought it was fine, but I can see where they're coming from. The spin dash wasn't introduced until Sonic 2. That's the mechanic where if you hold down and press the button repeatedly, it'll make Sonic gain some speed. So yeah, Sonic 1 didn't have that, and as a result, it's not as good as its sequels. And the level design sometimes requires Sonic to go very slow, which is not exactly what the advertising implied. But overall, it's still a good game nonetheless. And it's the first one of its kind, so cut it some slack, okay? It's far better than future Sonic games that were considered by many to be bottom of the barrel, not just in Sonic terms, but in video games as a whole. I wouldn't say the worst Sonic games are the worst games, period, but they can be pretty sloppy. Alright, well that's it for Sonic the Hedgehog, but I do have some news to share with you guys. Plumber's Sunshine Within is starting to become a hit. Like, the first episode is almost 200 views. It's doing pretty well. I'm already working on the third episode, but I'm a little concerned that it may drag on a little bit. Like, it's going to be, I think it may even be longer than the other two, but might even be longer than the other two combined. Yeah, we'll have to just wait and see, obviously, but I'm just saying it might be. So here's hope that Sonic Rangers, or whatever they're going to call it, is a good game, because I'd love to see what's in store for next time. And here's hope that episode 87 will be a good episode, because we all know how bad some of those earlier episodes have been from 2 years ago and stuff like that. You know what, I think I'm going to revisit a topic that I talked about before, but kind of change it up a bit. So almost like the Outer Oddities episode, you know. Except this is more of a redux to the whole thing. Well, not exactly a remake, it's just... Well, never mind, let's move on. Until then, I will see you guys later. Adios.